I'm a senior research fellow at the William Davidson Institute on the faculty at the Ross School of Business at the University of Michigan. And what we try and do is to create new knowledge with actionable implications. So the idea is that each time we build a domain, we want to think further and further about what it is we need to know to do better and better. So the idea for us is always, how do we build better enterprises? How do we have a greater impact? How do we think more robustly about partnerships? And as we answer one question, we always want to be thinking about the next one. Yeah, over the last decade, I think the biggest change has been the questions we're asking and the way we frame things. And we've still got a ways to go, but now we see business as part of the solution. The question isn't, should business serve the poor, but how can we make business serve the poor better? And are businesses good or bad for the poor? The question becomes, how can we make businesses better for the poor? And I think that change in conversation has gone a long way to not so much debating about the validity of the enterprises, but really thinking about, can we do this in a more productive way? I think humility is crucial in a number of ways. One is I think people go into this sometimes with the wrong perspective. They're doing something interesting and important, but they're not heroic. I think people have to step back and say, this is a learning journey, and I have to be open to learning. And if you're sort of being heroic, you don't want to show your flaws. And we need to set ourselves up to learn and to be a little more humble. And then we also have to rise from a humility perspective that those that we're the base of the pyramid, those we're working with are just as smart as we are. And how do we engage them in a really productive way, which is about being humble and showing respect. And if we don't do that, we're going to really struggle to make the ventures we want. I mean, from a big perspective, I'd love to see many, many more inclusive businesses that are sustainable at scale. And for us, that's success. And kind of behind the scenes or going along with that, I think we have to keep pushing ourselves to ask the next level of questions, kind of like peeling back an onion. Okay, what does competitive advantage really mean in this space? What is a strategy for building partnerships, and how does that evolve over time? So we understand better success at a more finite or more kind of micro, kind of tight lens as we go forward. I mean, I'd like to see businesses sort of be more engaged in understanding best practices. We have had successes and failures, and we need to make sure we're learning from those, and that knowledge is transferred to the next generation of businesses. And it's a challenging journey, but it is doable, and we need to make it easier. So that's one. And then the second thing is we need to make sure that the set of partners that's working to support businesses, that's a robust and integrated set of organizations and investments, so that we have a full portfolio of resources that are at disposal of these enterprises so they can be successful.